Okay, today we're going to talk about the Sphinx, since it is a mystery of the ancient world. Here you see it on the plaza of Giza, outside of Cairo, Egypt. And the Sphinx sits on top of an underground temple, and it has an altar on the surface right between its legs here in the front, and you can see that there's the large pyramid behind it, which is not the largest one. The largest one is actually over here, if I'm correct. Now they say the layout of Egypt or Giza is symbolic, like there's a reason why they put everything where they did. Now, I'm not so sure which theory I go with, because I've listened to a lot of the analysis. But today we're just going to talk about the Sphinx. Now, even though the Sphinx is mysterious, it has passageways underneath. There were secret rituals that were done that were only known to the high priests, and obviously you'd have to get in there, you'd have to get invited, and you know, this is very esoteric, and people are quite interested in it today. As you can see here, everybody kissing the Sphinx, even this guy. What you have is sometimes confusion about the Sphinx, and there's such a thing called the riddle of the Sphinx, but it's not really referring to this Sphinx. It's referring to the one that was in the ancient Greece city of Thebes. I think I pronounced that correctly. And that Sphinx no longer exists, if indeed it was a monument. And there was a story written in their mythology. Mythology is basically symbolic writings which is seeking to teach things, and they're esoteric because it has symbolic hidden meaning. And in the story, the Sphinx was guarding the outside of the town so that you couldn't pass unless you would solve the riddles that it would give you. You guys gotta be quiet. And the riddle was pretty tough. Like I'd have to think about it a long time, and your life depends on it, actually. If you don't get it correct, like if you don't solve that riddle, you're going to be killed by the Sphinx. And if you do get it right, though, the Sphinx destroys itself. So I'm not sure if it just destroys itself and then rematerializes for the next traveler, or whether it's destroyed forever. Reason being that it's not there anymore. That's why I'm asking the question that way. But wow, this person is either standing on top of the Sphinx, or I'm not sure if that's anatomically correct. Now, the Sphinx is in the Greek mythology as well as the Egyptian mythology, because these cultures, if you want to call them separate civilizations, I don't really think that they are. They're interrelated under the same civilization. But these two ethnic groups or national groups shared the idea of the Sphinx. So So, you know, what is the Sphinx? It's a creature, and I hate to use the term mythological creature because myth is teaching truth. It's not a fiction. So when they create this mythic or mythological idea, they're actually using a bad, inaccurate connotation of myth. So if this creature is in myth, is it possible that it literally existed? I mean, we know that there were prehistoric creatures. There were dinosaurs, there were trilobites, there were pterodactyls. We know that. So we know that it's possible for it to exist, like a dragon and such things. Let's read the description here. It has an Anatolian origin, and that's the ancient country that was in present-day Turkey. It's a winged monster, the Sphinx. It spreads destruction and bad luck everywhere. It has long hair, the body of a lion, the chest and wings of a bird, and the head of a woman. Okay, so those are like, it's a composite of three beings. And the riddle that comes from the book, and this was told to Oedipus Rex. And if you know that they created the psychological idea of the Oedipus complex from that Greek figure. So the riddle that he solved is, what goes on 4 legs at dawn, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? And I should add that this version here doesn't include the beginning. It says, what has 1 voice and goes on 4 legs at dawn, etc., etc., etc. So I'm not going to give you the answer. If you want to figure it out, then you can do so. Uh-oh, there's Wikipedia. And where was I? Here I am. I'm on the pictures. So I kind of believe that these things existed at some time in the ancient past. I don't know when. I don't know if they were artificially, genetically created. You know, they could have been mutants, or they could be also an extraterrestrial creature that would come in and have some supernatural powers. They might not have been just a lower animal species. It could be, well, obviously, look, it has a human type head, a woman looking head with long hair. So, you know, obviously it's not totally a human, but it's also not totally an animal. So I don't know what you think about these things, but to me it makes me wonder. I don't know for sure, but our technology of today is getting to the level where they're doing cloning, and they have these animals that they're replicating just from, you know, microscopic material. They just get the sex chromosomes, the DNA, and they're doing all kinds of gruesome experiments. So who knows, like in the ancient culture or ancient technology, they could have done the same thing and brought destruction upon themselves by recombining stuff, you know, like a Frankenstein monster. Well, one thing that I know, that it was probably very intense, the rituals that they would do around this Sphinx in Gaza. And I haven't heard too much about this knowledge. People that would actually know what kind of rituals they did and what was the purpose of it. You can see this illustration gives you can't really see the altar there, but you can see a bunch of obelisks around here. And amazing stuff. I think there's still a lot of secrets, and as I began the video, I was saying that there is a structure, possibly, to the way they laid out things in the Giza. Sorry, I confuse it with Giza and Gaza, but they're so similar, and they're so close, like they're actually neighboring regions. So Giza and Gaza might have a lot to do with each other. It's just one slight vowel variation there. But Giza in Egypt does very likely hold a lot more secrets, and people want to believe that it's prophecy is involved with it, prophecy that is trying to tell us something now. And people also want to connect it with the 2012 prophecy of the Mayans, if that timing was accurate. So all I know is that there's a lot of things going on right now in our world, and we definitely are in the middle of a transition. And as we transition through that, we're going to create another high civilization, because the one that we're in right now is certainly not very high. And I intend to be part of this transition. So you can join me if you are of the right mindset. We can agree mutually to work on things. Maybe we'll create our own mythologies that teach us something even greater than what they taught here. Some people think that this was idol worship. Some people think that kind of a thing is bad. Some people think that it's lesser gods, as if lesser gods exist. And the monotheism says there's only one God, and it can't even be really seen or heard. So you can't really make a sculpture of it or a monument. So there's kind of a big conflict between those two there, and I meditate on these things all the time to find out where is the truth actually. I'm going to leave you with one illustration here, and leave your comments if you know something or you believe something. Share this with all your friends, favorite it, make sure you give a thumbs up, and check to see that you're subscribed, because YouTube often will unsubscribe you. That's what they do with my channels. It's censorship.